Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Listen, the free rides are over, okay? I'm sure by now you've heard about Trump and he's brought into this for the companies that are taking in the H1B visas. Well, it's going to work a little bit differently. Now those companies are going to pretty much like have to sponsor these workers and pay $100,000 per worker. You want to bring them in? It's going to cost you $100,000. And I believe it's going to be annually. Yeah. One of my girlfriends, her sister's married to a guy, he's Indian. Now, did you believe it? Did you believe it? You best believe it. You best believe it. So let's go ahead and check this out and let's have the conversation. Unbelievable.
Indians working in the US have gotten the biggest shock of their lives. Yesterday, President Trump mentioned that any American company hiring foreign workers on H1B visa will have to pay $100,000 every year to the US government in the form of a fee. Which means every Indian who will be hired by an American company, well, that company in the US will have to pay 88 lakh rupees, not one time, but every single year. Now, this means that practically all the Indians working in the US and are not already US citizens may have to come back, because right now this is a presidential order, and whether it's going to sustain in the US Congress or not, we can't really say.
So they showed where people were like, hey, I guess we're going to go ahead and leave. But they decide, you know what? I think I better get back because it's going to cost. Yeah. Talk about a wake up call. $100,000. $100,000.
Indians working in the US have gotten the biggest shock of their lives. Yesterday, President Trump mentioned that any American company hiring foreign workers on H1B visa will have to pay $100,000 every year to the US government in the form of a fee.
And I agree with that fee. See, a lot of times I get tired of hearing about, especially people who are not born here, because you saw something on TV and you flew on over here and then it worked out for you. You want to talk about the American worker is lazy because you made it. No, the American worker been working and paying taxes. Now, it's business. When you have a person who believes in business, they're going to operate differently. Not just going to be writing out checks. Some checks have got to come in. Check this out. So they do have some programs for Native American, Alaskan Native individual where they can access grants, loans, and business development programs specifically designed to support their entrepreneurial ventures. So they're not getting a free business, which that right there, I disagree, because I can tell you something differently from someone who's worked for the government. But I just kind of Google about the freebies. So look at these programs here. They can get grants. Grants are free money that you don't have to pay back. They've got the Indian Loan Guarantee and Insurance Program. This here is basically from the U.S. Department of Interior, and it helps Native Americans owned businesses get grants. And they can secure loans by guaranteeing, the government guarantees a portion of that loan. That way the banks don't have to worry about a risk, get a little scared. The government guarantees a portion of that loan. Americans are so unemployed and so in debt, most can't even qualify for a loan. Oh, yeah. The 8A Development Program. This here is an SBA program to support socially and economically disadvantaged small businesses, including Native American owned businesses, allowing them to compete for government contracts. See, there's a lot of information, and believe it or not, there is a lot of giving of the American dollars when they come here. Oh man, I've heard about the housing loan. It's like, what? What kind of program is there when you sit up and you're not paying any interest for how many years? And then you go buy another house, bring your family over and get that house, and you're like, Americans, we don't know about an interest-free loan. And I'm like, some stuff you're not going to see on the news, but there are people behind the desk that make the decisions. I'm like, what? The fleecing of America will end. You're going to have to pay to play. You want to be an American? Come up and pay some of these taxes. The end, look at here. There's state and private initiatives. The Indian Equity Fund. Some state level programs offer funding for Native American businesses for startup costs or expansion, according to Zen Business. Hmm. Okay. The eligibility considerations, a program must have specific requirements, such as being a registered member of an American Indian or Alaska Native group for Native American specific grants. So grants specifically for them. So you didn't complain about those grants. Those grants, that's money that doesn't have to be paid back. That's tax dollar money. So don't complain about this with HB1 visas. Are you complaining about those grants? See, don't complain about having to pay when you're not complaining about that free money. These programs, they don't provide a free business, they provide grants, loans, and support to help businesses start and grow. Yeah, grants are funds which we all, I'm sure, know that do not need to be repaid. Yeah, isn't that interesting? So, what's the eligibility here? You have to be a registered member of an American Indian or Alaska Native group for Native American specific grants, and the grants, that's free money. So let's not complain like, oh my goodness. And a lot of them, when they get here, of course, they're known to come to my community to make money. Oh, but they can be very anti us. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. So guess what? Again, my friends or sisters married to an Indian guy. I get to believe this. I get to believe this. Well, guess what, homeboy? You best believe it. Best believe it. This is what is happening. Yeah. So those companies, the company's been getting all these, I would say write-offs, been getting all these incentives, all this corporate welfare. Yeah. So since you can't find, as you say, American workers, which I do not believe never have, we've got to bring them over there. We already know it's going to be at a reduced rate. Yeah. So if that's the case, if you just gotta hire somebody, you're not gonna tell me that only HB1 visas can do it. I remember they had all those black engineers, and Trump was trying to fight for them. From what I saw, he's like, "Hey, we got Americans that can do the job." They laid off all those black engineers that had been making like six figures. Well, that party was over. They laid them all off, and they hired all Indians. Yeah. Oh, but that's not gonna be on the news. That part right there. We don't want to have that on the news now. Yeah. I remember one female, she was an engineer, a black woman, she was speaking about it. Mm-hmm. But that's not on the news. So you don't want to hire Americans. So since this is what you want to do, yeah, I totally concur with it. $100,000. Since you want to play sponsor, this is who you want. You want to bring them in, $100,000 annually. These companies been getting corporate welfare more than the people, if you want to think about it. So this here, what he's talking about, getting that wake up call. Yeah, that wake up call is truly, truly here. That wake up call, oh, it's definitely here. The wake up call is here. Never saw it coming. But you know now.
Indians working in the US have gotten the biggest shock of their lives. Yesterday, President Trump mentioned that any American company hiring foreign workers on H1b visa will have to pay $100,000 every year to the US government in the form of a fee, which means every Indian who will be hired by an American company, well, that company in the US will have to pay 88 lakh rupees, not one time, but every single year. Now, this means that practically all the Indians working in the US and are not already US citizens may have to come back, because right now this is a presidential order, and whether it's going to sustain in the US Congress or not, we can't.
So here it says people with HB1 visas leaving plane as Trump signs a new order. Yeah, you might not be able to get back up in here. So what do you think about it? I totally concur. You're not going to tell me that, oh, we just can't find an American to do the job. No, you don't want to have an American to do the job. You're not going to tell me you can go in, honey. You can. I'm not buying it. Again, I knew when it happened with those engineers. I was like, wow. I saw that years ago. I was like, wow. All the American engineers were gone, and they brought in a bunch of Indian people for those same jobs. All those black engineers were gone, out. Goodbye. Yeah. I was reading about the forum and listening to it, what have you. So that's what those companies chose to do. So this, I agree with them. You don't want to hire Americans. Again, you're not going to tell me that. Next it'll be, we can't find no Americans that can count to five. I don't know. They seem to get stuck around number three. Not buying it. So this here, it's a business move, it's a money move. Yeah. So corporate America, again, look at all the corporate welfare that they get. You want to bring those folk in. There you go. Sponsorship. $100,000 a year annually. Go DJT. That's one thing you're doing right. 100. Yes. What do you think his plan is? Get them to hire American. That's my opinion. Get them to hire American. That's what I think that the ideal is. So if you don't want to hire American, this right here, incentivize it. If you don't want to hire an American and you're saying, oh, we got to have the people from India, you do? Okay. Then the American taxpayer, we got to have that $100,000 fee annually. Let me know what you all think. Again, a lot of these people that are foreigners are coming here. They always want to, run their mouth on Americans just because they got a little program, a little hookup for you. Well, now you can see what it's like as a taxpayer. You got to work, honey, and you got to pay your due. Corporate America, don't want to hire the Americans? Fine. This right here, I totally concur with it. Not just one time, annually. Again, I don't feel sorry for these corporations. Use all that corporate welfare you've been getting. So they don't fly like we do, coach, or maybe on a good day, buddy pass first class. Oh, they got jets and they got to wear $4 clocking. Yeah. Oh, mess up the company. The company's going down bad. Well, let me get my friends $1 million parachute. Hey, we're gonna go out of business. The little guys at the bottom that punch a time clock that are making 50, 40,000, 60,000 a year. We're gonna let them go with no package. But hey, all the managers that manage the company, which is going down under your leadership, I gotta make sure I look out for those guys. Here's $1 million each. They've done that. Company shutting down. How are they getting $1 million to managers? But little people get nothing. Corporate welfare. So, yes, I am for it. Let me know what you all think. Thanks for watching. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and share. And I'm out. But to believe it.